After Israel came out of Egypt, Amalek came and attacked the children of Israel. And Joshua fought against Amalek, while Aaron and Hur held up Moses' heavy hand so that Israel prevailed. When the battle was won, God told Moses, "Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, "Because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." Just before they entered the promised land, Moses told the children of Israel, "Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, thou shalt not forget it." About 500 years later, the time came to blot out Amalek. The prophet Samuel said to King Saul, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way, when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass." But Saul rebelled. He saved alive Agag, king of the Amalekites, along with the best of the spoil. And Samuel said, "Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king." And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. Saul's disobedience cost God's people centuries later, when a descendant of Agag the Amalekite rose up against Judah in their captivity in the land of Persia, Haman the Agagite. King Ahasuerus of Persia promoted Haman above all the princes in his kingdom, and all the king's servants bowed and reverenced Haman, except for Mordecai the Jew. Then was Haman full of wrath, and he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. But God raised up Esther as queen of Persia to deliver his people out of the hand of Haman, defeating their enemy in the generational war against Amalek. Haman and his 10 sons were hanged on the gallows, and the Jews made the days wherein Haman conspired to slay them into days of feasting and gladness. And Mordecai wrote these things, and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast Pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his son should be hanged upon the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name Pur. Therefore for all the words of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. Generation after generation, there has always been one with the spirit of Amalek to come against God's people of Israel, like Hitler, who caused to perish 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. And now today, Israel's worst enemy rises again from Persia and the Muslim leadership of Iran, who chant, "Death to Israel." But though there be an Amalek in every generation bent on Israel's destruction, Israel has always prevailed. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. Those of us who are Gentiles who believe are grafted into Israel. We are strangers and sojourners with them. And as strangers joined to Israel, we too can celebrate every year the deliverance of God's people on these days of Purim.